There's a lot of folks that want to upgrade their Yamaha outboards that have the Helm Master EX. They want to be able to add Autopilot. And Yamaha's made it very easy to do that. They provided the rigging diagrams, the part numbers, the kits, and so on to do that, to upgrade from level 2, for example, to level 3 that has Autopilot, and even level 4 that has the joystick controls. Especially if it is all fly-by-wire, it makes it very easy to do. And so I'm going to outline how I am doing that on this particular boat, this rigging with twin 200s. These have the full DES and deck controls. So I'll go through the whole process. I have a primary or main helm and a secondary helm, so I'll go through what the wiring harnesses look like and pretty much what it is to plug and play all this. And go through that process. So hopefully this will help you out if you're thinking about doing that and wanting to upgrade your Yamahas to Autopilot. So I want to share a couple of websites that are very helpful, and I'll put these in the description of the video so that you can easily get to them. But there's, first of all, this Yamaha Prop Selector site. It's a rigging site for the HelmMaster EX series. And you basically just follow the guided prompts and it'll generate this wonderful wiring diagram and parts list for you. So in my case, I have this install is a 2023 model. So I'm going to select that. Then it's going to ask, well, what do you want? Do you want individual components, or you want to upgrade to this full maneuverability kit? That's with the joystick. Well, I'm going to do individual components. All right. And then you see here, starting from the left to the right, you just select what you have and ultimately what you want to go to. So in this case, I have twin engines. I have a CL5 display. That's a little 5-inch digital display, Yamaha display that's on my dash. Then you select what type of switch. Do you have the fob type of switch, or is it a traditional ignition switch? I have the traditional switch. And then what kind of steering, digital electric steering do you have? Well, I have the integrated on this particular motor or pair of motors. Do I have a single or a second station? Well, in this case, I have a main and an aft station, so I'm going to go second. And then what am I installing? Well, in this case, I want to do Autopilot, so I'm going to click on that. All right, then it will actually generate this wonderful diagram that shows the wiring, the parts, everything. Here we go. Excellent. Now, some things with regards to this. If you click on Show All Part Numbers, then what it will do is actually show the individual part numbers, even for parts that are included in a kit. So when we say a kit, if I scroll down, you'll see that there's an Autopilot upgrade kit. And it's got this part number 6X9-762P0. Okay. Then the parts below it, it shows what's included with that kit. Well, in some cases, you may decide that you want to buy the individual parts, maybe because you can get some of the parts used, on sale, whatever, and you can lower the price versus buying the entire kit already bundled for you, which is going to be the full retail price. In order to do that, come up here to the top, click on Show All Part Numbers, and lo and behold, now all the individual part numbers are shown, even the stuff that's included in that kit, which are these gray lines. Another thing that's very useful on here is see where it says Show All Locations. You can click on that, and all these numbered lines of the different parts, it will show on the wiring diagram where they are, and that way you can easily figure out, what all these different dongles are and these little conversion plugs and various components that you're going to add. So you can see it's truly plug and play. You just buy these additional harnesses that plug in and effectively allow you to expand this Yamaha Command Link network, Command Link Plus network. All right. One other thing to mention that sometimes can add some confusion, number 46 here, that's the BCU, that's the boat control unit. That effectively is the brains that will control the Autopilot. You'll see that there is a part listed here, boat control unit right here. This is the same part number for Autopilot that's used for a single, twin, triple, and quad engine configuration. The exception to that is if you go to the full maneuverability kit, that is with the joystick, then they have a different BCU for each engine configuration. So there's 4 different ones out there. one for a single, one for a twin, one for triple, one for quad, okay? So just be aware that depending on what you're going to ultimately upgrade to, if you're going to go to the joystick, you're going to have to get a different one if you have more than one engine. So be aware of that. For me, I'm just doing autopilot, so this same model will work on a single or a twin just for autopilot. Okay, so this is how you get your parts. And this is how you figure it out, how you get your wiring diagram. The other one to take a look at, and I'll share this in the description, this is the Marine Workshop Dealer Guide. They come out with these each year, and effectively it has all the different configurations, part numbers, and so forth. This can be pretty helpful when you're trying to find various plugs and dongles and so forth. Also, when you're trying to figure out the nomenclature of the HelmMaster product line, this helps you understand it more. So if you click, for example, right here, these are linked, you'll see there's a functional table here that shows the difference between a level 1, level 2, all the way to level 4. So you can understand what the differences are that you get with each stage of upgrade when it comes to the HelmMaster Pro series, or excuse me, HelmMaster EX series.
Interesting. Yamaha's made it very plug and play. They've got diagrams here, but it's amazing all of the wiring dongles and connectors and adapters and everything to make things work. And I imagine a lot of it is because they're buying from various manufacturers and they're trying to get all these things to work together. So, for example, on the Yamaha, this looks very much like a Garmin GPS with the NEMA 2000 5-pin connector here. And so for Yamaha, when you order this, what you're also going to get is this NEMA adapter. Of course, that plugs in over here, and then you've got basically this 4-pin. This is like a command link. This is Yamaha's proprietary NEMA 2000 type of plug. Okay, so you got this 4-pin. And then you've got to convert this. So, you've eventually there's a wiring harness that you get with the kit. This says to heading. If you're going to do a single station, it would be this connector right here. This is why it says 2 GPS to second helm. If you had a second helm, this goes to the harness that goes to the back of the boat, or to your second helm if you had a fly, on a fly bridge or whatever. But in order to get this, got a male here, you got a female here, but there's a 4-pin, that's a 6-pin command link plus. So then they sell another dongle. You see this? So you got to convert here from 4-pin to 6-pin. But by golly, we got a little bit of a problem here. So we went from command link plus, we're going to go here. I'm just going to run this through so you understand. You got NEMA 2000, command link, wrong gender, so we got to go command link now to 6-pin. We went from 4-pin to 6-pin, but this don't fit. So now they sell another harness, and it's available in different lengths. So, they go, I think, all the way to 30 feet. That it's female to female so that you can get these guys to tie in here. So, anyway, heading sensor, which, by the way, this also looks like a Garmin heading sensor with a NEMA 2000 interface on it. And it also converts, which I guess I could go ahead and add that. So that goes to NEMA 2K, 4-pin command link. And then on the harness, this is the main harness, there's a dedicated port. Here it is, 2 heading sensor. That plugs in here, okay? And that at least, gets you connected there. So you got the GPS, the heading sensor, the BCU, that's what plugs into this. So you've got that. This plug here, this is for the Autopilot control panel. Again, this is for the inline bus, to part of the Command Link Plus bus. This is for power. Oh yeah, and if you decide to install propeller lights that you can run to the outboard, that's what these two connectors are for. Okay, and then there should be one other connector for the joystick. Oh, here we go. Man, I'm going blind. This is if you add the joystick down the road, you're going to go to level 4, which is the full maneuverability kit. All right, so for the GPS, I'm going to put it up here on the roof. So I got this liner I pulled off, which is this cover here. And then that way I can drill through here, put the puck up here, run it along this chase, come out and come down this wall. There's another chase that's down here. That'll allow me to get that down into this second helm area. So that's the target. All right, so to fish this up here, I pulled this other panel out right here so that I can run my GPS wire down in here and then up and around, because I want to try to hide this as much as I can. There's a panel that's on here. I will have a little exposure here, but I'll put some split loom and bring that in through here and fish my wires. Now to get it to fit, I'm gonna have to take the plug end off on the back of the bus connector. And in order to do that, you have to pull off. So if you see this, I've got this in here. This is the 6-pin connector, Command Link Plus connector. So you've got this little plastic retainer. I pulled it out on one side here already. That's what this is. And then these pins, you can pop them out. So you can see here, they've got a waterproofing grommet that's right here. And then when you look at the pin, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm doing this with the camera one-handed. So let's see if I can get this to, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, and so you take that, trying to get the camera in here so you can see it there. So I'm pressing that little tab down. Now you pull the wire out. Oh, dang it. Okay, so you're pressing the tab, pull the wire out just like that. See how that comes out? There we go. So you want to do that for each one, and you want to make sure you make a note of your color codes. So if you look at the way the pin, it shows the pin out here. So 1, and so this is 2, and then there's a 3 here. So 1, 2, 3, and it goes 4, blue is 5, and 6. Okay? So make sure you got that noted, because you don't want to screw up and get your power connectors and the data connectors all messed up, okay? So be cautious of that. And then when you go put it back in, you're gonna be able to pop this back in. This is just a retainer clip that kind of holds that in place. All right? Okay, so we got this hooked up now. This is for the GPS. So again, we've got our extension cable. This is the 25-foot piece. Again, you can get a different skew, different length based on whatever length you need. And this is in the Yamaha rigging guide. This is the little converter dongle that goes from 6-pin to 4-pin. Here's our little 4-pin connector. This is female to female. This goes into this GPS pigtail. The thing converts it over to NEMA 2000. Now, because I've got a cover that goes across here, I did not want to put too much pressure on this NEMA connector, so I bought a 90. These are just standard 90s. They run about 18 bucks a pop. That way I don't have to worry about putting stress on the cable. And then I glue in, use epoxies, use 2-part epoxy to do these zip tie downs here, and then I'll zip tie everything up into this channel to clean up my cable, do some cable management. So that's how we're doing it. All right, so I got this one put in. This is actually pretty simple. I should show you what this is like. Basically, we get a cutout. Put a little bit of silicone in there just to seal that. 4 small screws. These screws here, these are number 4s, so they're pretty small. Drilled that out, the cutout, Just basically use the drill and a jigsaw to cut that out, and then use a file. You want to use a file just to clean up the edges, and then you want to round the corners. You want to make sure you don't have any stress marks there. At any rate, that's what we did. So I got one here, and then I got one at the front helm. Go over here, front helm. So I put it right over here, so it's right below my CL5. Trying to find a spot that is not affected at all. And it looks like right up here on this step, if I was to mount up here, then I think we're gonna be okay. Because if I notice, I have no magnetic disturbances here. And I think this is a better place. Okay, so BCU up here. That's a good mount spot. Heading sensor here. It's away from, mostly away from wiring. Doesn't have any ill effects here, so I think we should be good. Especially the lower I go, the better. You want it lower. Center of gravity, less yaw, less listing. Since it's a 9-axis heading sensor, so it gets affected the higher up it is, so that's why we want it down as low as we can. And I think we'll be good right there. So this is what I decided to do. Some starboard on here, some HDPE. It's all aluminum, stainless steel, so we don't have anything that's ferrous. And then we will mount this right here, right on the starboard. The advantage of doing this, the reason why I'm doing this, something to screw this into. And also here, I'm just trying to reduce, vibration and stuff. So on the back of this, I actually have a strip of aluminum that I had screwed in here, and then I used adhesive on the back. I'm using 5200. In the past, I've used 2-part epoxy, and you just scour, make sure you get the oxide layer off and scour it really good so you give it a mechanical bite. But I decided to use 5200 on here. I think that'll be more than adequate. These are screwed through this top support, which is exposed in the back, so this is not going to go anywhere. And again, that'll give me a nice place to screw in here my heading sensor. Okay, so we got our heading sensor here. That's mounted. I got my BCU mounted here. When I went ahead, I'm always worried about vibration, so I actually have some rubber, that's about an 1/8 inch neoprene material on the back side of this, which just effectively ends up being a little bit of shock absorption. I'm just always worried with electronics like this getting beat up, especially the farther forward you go. It's probably not necessary, it's just belt and suspenders approach. And then again, we got our wiring harness here, so now we're ready to rock and roll. Now we gotta plug all our wiring in. Okay, one more review here on our cabling. This is gonna go, there's a blue cable up here. Let's see, you can see it right here, right there. We're gonna separate that, okay? This here is a 2-conductor plug. That's what plugs into this black connector. So we basically sever this. This is gonna get severed. Okay, we split this apart like so. This gets plugged in line. This gets plugged into the black conductor. This right here plugs right into the back of our panel. That's this flat blade, or more of a flat connector, 6-conductor. Okay. This goes into the heading sensor. See, it's just a NEMA connector. That's what plugs in right here. All right. And then the BCU that I mounted up here. Okay. That's what this connector goes into, just like that. And that's pretty much it. This here is for a joystick if you do the level 4 upgrade. Of course, that requires a different BCU. And then these are for propeller lights. I'm not going to use these. And I think they're even labeled. They should be labeled. Yeah, to prop. You'll see it if you look. Okay. All right, so that's that connector. Now let's look at the second helm. Okay, at the second helm, we have this other wiring harness. Very similar setup here. See, it's blue. It ends up going in between this harness here. Okay, right there. All right, goes in line. This here is if we have a joystick back here, which I'm not doing. And then this connector here just goes to the back of this panel. That's it. Really simple setup. This here is to the GPS. So let me show you which connector that is. There's one that's labeled up here. It says to GPS. Oh man, I need a light. I can't see. It should be this one here. Yep. Yep. And so what you'll see, there's a label on here. Let's see if I can get the camera on here. See, it says to GPS. To GPS, that's it. So that'll connect the back of this GPS wire. So I'm going to go and plug all this stuff in. Just easier for me to show you since I'm doing this one-handed while holding the camera, and then fire everything up. And then what should happen is on the CL5, on the command link for the CL5 display up front here, I should get another menu option which will show the autopilot. It'll recognize the autopilot. And then it will complain that it's going to want a BPS scan. I got to take it to a dealer because they have to use the Yamaha diagnostic interface system, the YDIS system. Plug in here and do a system scan. Otherwise, it's just it'll beep every time I go start it up, complaining about the system scan needing to be accomplished. But that's about it. So stay tuned. Okay, got everything. It's all plugged in, ready to go. So I'm going to turn the ignition on. Of course, I'm not going to start it because I'm out of the water. And what we should see is it'll probably want to calibrate the compass. If you can see, it looks kind of blinding here. Okay. Compass calibration not completed. Calibrate, we'll do that. We have to do that on the water. Okay. All right. Now we see autopilot is here. That's good. So it recognizes the system. The lights are displayed. Of course, I don't have a GPS signal because I'm in a metal building. So, but if I try to press any of these buttons, of course, it's going to complain the GPS is unstable. Autopilot won't be enabled. So cool. It's working. That's perfect. And then I should get a message here pretty soon saying it needs a scan. Anytime you add another device on the network, you have to take it to a dealer. They have to plug in the Yamaha diagnostic system, the YDS, and they can do a BPS scan, and that can basically scan the system for new devices. I don't have one of those, so I'll have to take it to a dealer and have them do it. Should come up. There it is. Okay, knew it was going to come. System scan has not been completed. Consult the Yamaha dealer. So yeah, that has to be done. But that's it. All right, cool beans. So I am pretty much done. Now I just need to button up these cables because I got them kind of dangling down here, and that's it. So they've designed it pretty much plug and play. If you look in the video, the description, it's got a link to the part number lookup and the wiring diagram and kind of the rigging guide that Yamaha has. And hopefully that helps you out if you're looking at updating yours from a level 2 to a level 3. Alrighty, take care now.